A liberal CNN talk show host says Mitt Romney just might save America. Waiting for the other shoe to drop? Here it comes. I'm PJTV Scott Ott, joined now by Bill Whittle and Stephen Green. Well, CNN's Piers Morgan wrote a piece for the London Daily Mail this week calling Mitt Romney one of the least principled politicians I've met. But Morgan concluded that Mitt Romney might just save America. Morgan points out that over the years, Romney has taken various positions on abortion, gun rights, stem cell research, and government-run health care. But right now, he says, the economy trumps all, and Romney is the sharpest businessman to ever seek the presidency. His heroic rescue of the Olympic Games gives us real hope, rather than the ephemeral, teleprompter skimming kind. Stephen Green, if you were Mitt Romney, would you be flattered or insulted by Piers Morgan's backhanded compliment?
Geez, Bill. First, I'd just like to say how proud I am of CNN for having somebody on board who isn't suffering from a total rectal cranial inversion. If I were Mitt, though, why would I care one whit what Piers Morgan thinks? I'm running for president of the United States. I'm doing my damnedest to save this country from this Marxian junta that's held the White House for the last 4 years. And I'm supposed to get all excited that one of the lowest rated hosts on one of the lowest rated networks suddenly thinks I might be sort of okay? Well, Lottie freaking da Piers Morgan. Romney's too much of a statesman, never say anything like that, but that's why folks tune into Trifecta.
Well, Bill Whittle, you're a principled conservative. Doesn't it rankle you to hear that we're stuck with no other choice but a guy whose ideological compass is a weather vane like Romney?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I'd like to disagree with my good friend, the commentator from the great state of Colorado. I think it's very damn important that Piers Morgan comes out this way, and I'll tell you why. It all goes to this social proof thing, and it goes to the stuff that Glenn Reynolds talks about with the preference cascade. Every time anybody who's perceived as liberal comes out and says it's okay to vote for Mitt Romney, that gives hundreds of thousands of people permission to vote for Mitt Romney. The psychological pressures that Barack Obama carries because of his racial background, because of all of that mess, is still very strong. I think that's the only reason why the polls are as tight as they are. I think people are going to be shocked at the size of Romney's win because people don't want to admit that they still have a problem with this guy. But your question was?
Well, what does it feel like to have a guy like, your only choice is a guy like Romney who's a weather vane?
Yes, of course. Look, that's a plus for Piers Morgan, the idea that he has no principles. What I think he's really trying to say is that Romney seems like a reasonable guy who takes his personal beliefs out of the public thing. And I know where he's trying to go with this whole thing. Conservatives don't like Romney because he's too wishy-washy. You know what? Every single day we like Romney better and better and better and better and better. And if Romney turns out to govern like a liberal, we'll just chuck his butt out in 2016, but there may still be a country to do it in.
Well, Steve, as Piers Morgan indicates, Romney is squeaky clean, generous, polite, highly skilled in business, and has a track record of working with Democrats to actually cut government spending. At this point in the process, is it just rationalizing for me to suggest that what we need is a little less talk about platonic conservative ideals and a lot more action to fix the plumbing?
First, in light of my good friend, the Honorable Will Whittle's comments, I would like to withdraw and retract my previous statement. You know what? Only Nixon could go to China. You know, only a president with rock-solid Cold War credentials could negotiate a deal with the communist Chinese to neutralize the Soviets in the Far East. If Carter had tried that, his own party might have impeached him. Besides, Carter would have somehow ended up agreeing to let Mao buy California in exchange for some magic beans. Anyway, So it might only be a welfare state Republican that can tame the welfare state. I've got my fingers crossed going into November here.
Well, Bill, I still know people who think they're going to teach the Republican Party a lesson by either staying home or voting for a no-chance-in-Hades candidate. But isn't that just what a principled person should do? Refuse to play the game, take a stand, consequences be damned.
Well, it's an honor speaking after my dear friend Steve Green from the great state of Colorado held the floor. Held the floor? Son, he couldn't get up off of it. Thank you, Senator Clyghorn. Look, I understand the principled argument thing. I do. But the principle I would come to here is if you are a person of conservative values, your entire philosophy is based around the world that is, not the world that we wish it would be. You have to come to grips with the fact that the next president of the United States is going to be either Mitt Romney or Barack Obama, and no rational person doubts this at all. Now, the time to have that protest vote is in 2016, while there is still some kind of a country functioning, before this debt bomb explodes and before these people can corrupt the electoral process more so that we never win another election ever. I would urge my people who are allies of ours on this fight, who are going to go out and make a principled stand and vote for Gary Johnson or for somebody else. You might be the reason that Barack Obama wins this election. And you can't blame Barack Obama for winning the election. You can't blame the Democrats for voting for Barack Obama. You can't blame the Republicans for voting for the man who's going to oppose Barack Obama. But I would hate to have another 4 years of Barack Obama on my conscience because I voted for a guy who has no chance to win in order to make a point about something that is probably best made 4 years from now if Mitt Romney turns out to be the kind of big liberal that they claim he is in the first place.
Well, you know, it was said of President Benjamin Harrison that he was content to exercise the simple constitutional functions of his office. He was a constitutional president, this man whose feet were always under his desk. For some months now, I've had in my mind the ideal bumper sticker slogan for the Romney campaign: mere competence. Mitt Romney is an experienced problem solver. He's very good at it. Let the pulpits rumble with vision. Let the airwaves thunder with hope. Let rainbows arc above the canyons of Wall Street. Let screen and stage come alive with songs of tomorrow and panoramas of paradise. Our hearts will keep the cadence as we march to the barricades, climb to the hills, soar to the stars. But let the man in the Oval Office take a red pen in one hand and a veto stamp in the other, and let him protect and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Let him analyze problems, formulate solutions, build consensus, and execute on his commitments. I don't want a president I can believe in or follow. I want a president who devotes himself to the work, takes responsibility, and gets the job done. For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire Trifecta crew at PJTV.com, I'm Scott Ott.